The deep black of space was quiet around Sector 9. Silent stars watched over a large formation of alien warships belonging to the Galactic Empire. Their hulls shone with dark metal and every ship carried heavy weapons. The Empire always stayed ready for trouble. They had many enemies across the galaxy, and any new signal made their commanders nervous. Inside the command center of the flagship, tall screens showed shifting lines of light. Officers worked at their stations, tapping keys and reading data. One of them suddenly froze. His screen flashed red, and a loud alarm rang through the room. "Unknown ships detected," the officer said in a firm voice. At once, every officer turned their eyes to the screen. The Empire had powerful scanners, and the ships were not part of any known species. The officers began to talk in low, serious tones which filled the room like a low growl. The commander of the fleet, Lord Zarian, stepped forward. His armor reflected the lights around him, making his tall body look even stronger. His voice was calm, but everyone could hear pressure behind it. "How many ships?" he asked. 7 vessels traveling at high speed," the officer answered. "Their design is strange." The screen zoomed in. The ships were shaped differently from most known vessels. Their bodies were compact, almost small compared to Empire ships, but thick armor covered them. They were metal towers in space, shaped for battle. Lord Zarian frowned. "Identify their energy signature," the scanners hummed. Strange symbols showed on the monitors. "Unknown," the officer said, "but there is something unusual about the inside of their hulls. It is like we are reading a hidden source of power." The rest of the officers looked at each other. The Empire studied thousands of ships across many galaxies, but this signature was something new. Lord Zarian made a hand motion. "Send them a message. Order them to stop and identify themselves." Moments later, the Empire warships pointed laser communication beams toward the unknown fleet. The message left the flagship and crossed the empty space like a red thread of light. Inside the unknown ships, humans sat behind their own bright screens. Captain Mira Hayes looked at the signal that reached her ship. Her ship, the Horizon Star, was the lead vessel of a small human exploration fleet. She was calm, but her eyes showed alertness. "We are being asked to identify and surrender," her officer said. Mira Hayes shook her head gently. "We do not surrender. We are not here to fight. Send a polite reply." Her communication officer nodded. He opened a channel and sent a calm message back to the Empire ships. "We are travelers from the planet Earth. We wish peaceful contact. We mean no harm." Back on the Empire flagship, Lord Zarian watched the translation appear on the screen. He raised an eyebrow. He had never heard of Earth. He pressed a button to listen to the human voice. The tone was warm, friendly, even hopeful. Some alien officers smiled with disbelief. "These ships are tiny," one officer whispered. "They think we fear them?" Another laughed softly. The Empire believed only large ships were powerful. Smaller vessels often meant weaker tech. They had no reason to feel worried. Lord Zarian spoke with a cold smile. "Tell them to approach slowly. We will meet them. If they disobey, we destroy them." The order was sent again. Human ships slowed down, turning on calming blue lights to show peaceful intentions. They followed the Empire's instructions toward a docking platform that floated in the void like a metal island. Captain Mira Hayes could feel tension rising among her crew. Their suits were clean, their helmets polished, but fear sat quietly on their shoulders. They knew the Empire was huge, ancient, and mighty. They docked gently. Their engines turned off. A soft hiss echoed inside the ships, and soon the air was quiet. "Captain," Mira's second officer said, "scans report hundreds of soldiers outside. They have many weapons." Mira Hayes nodded. "We will go anyway." Humanity did not come to space to hide. She smiled, trying to keep morale high. She believed that strong hearts could break walls of fear. Humans stepped out onto the platform. Alien guards stood tall in shiny armor. They had long eyes, thin bodies, and calm expressions. Their armor plates moved like living scales. For a moment, both sides stared, taking in differences. The alien commander on the platform scanned the humans carefully. He spoke in a clear voice. "Welcome to territory of the Galactic Empire. You will follow our rules. We will take you to the Emperor's diplomatic chamber." Mira Hayes bowed her head slightly. "We are honored to meet with your leaders." Their journey through the Empire station was long. The halls were huge, tall enough to make humans feel small. Strange glowing signs floated above their heads. Doors opened silently as if reading their movements. Alien civilians watched from windows. Their curious eyes followed every small detail of the human suits, boots, and smiling faces. They whispered to each other. Humanity was new. Humanity was unusual. Finally, the humans entered a great chamber. The ceiling shined like a night sky full of stars. A long silver table stood in the center. Empire diplomats sat behind it, and at the far end the Emperor himself watched silently. He was tall, with dark blue skin and silver eyes that shined like frozen fire. His voice carried across the room. "You come from a world we do not know. Why are you here?" Mira Hayes spoke carefully. "Humanity wishes to learn, to trade knowledge, and to make peaceful friends. We travel the stars not for conquest but growth." Several alien diplomats chuckled quietly. They did not take her words seriously. Peaceful explorers with tiny ships? It sounded more like a fantasy than truth. One diplomat leaned forward. "Do humans believe they are strong enough to stand in this galaxy? Look around you. Power rules space." Mira did not flinch. "Strength can be many things. Not only size, not only weapons." Some aliens exchanged looks. They thought humans were simple. Maybe too hopeful. The Emperor nodded slowly. "You are interesting, but your ships look weak. I do not understand how you survived deep space." Mira gave a small smile. "We had to survive difficult times on our homeworld. War, cold, hunger. We learned to build with our hearts and minds. We found many creative ways to stay alive." The aliens could not tell if her voice held pride or warning. Before the meeting ended, one alien diplomat laughed softly, shaking his head. He whispered to his partner, "Tiny ships, strange design, and they talk about peace. How amusing." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. He noticed something unusual in the humans' energy readings earlier. Deep under the armor of those small ships lay a strong pulse of power. It was like a sleeping beast surrounded by a thin cage. "Maybe there is more," he thought quietly. While humans returned to their ships, alien officers continued their analysis. They studied the human hulls with deeper scanners. The results surprised them. "Commander, their armor is dense. It curves energy differently, and we found machines inside that we cannot identify." Lord Zarian frowned. "Maybe we judged too fast." "Continue studying." Down on the human ship, Mira Hayes sat in her chair. Her crew looked tired but hopeful. "How was our first meeting, Captain?" her officer asked. She breathed deeply. "It was difficult, but we opened the door. Now patience will decide the future." She tapped a small glass window beside her seat and looked at the stars. Humanity was small compared to the Empire, but humans were not afraid to stand among giants. She whispered softly, "Space is big, but so is the human spirit." Her officers nodded. They all shared the same quiet belief. That night cycle on the Empire station, many aliens talked about humans. Some laughed at the strange new species. Others argued that humans seemed too joyful to survive battle. But a small group of scientists whispered new theories. They saw the strange energy signals and wondered if humanity hid great secrets. In the command center, Lord Zarian stood alone. He replayed the scanner readings again and again. Something inside the human ships looked powerful, hidden and silent. He pressed a button on his desk. "Prepare a combat trial," he ordered. His officers looked shocked. "A trial, sir?" "Yes," Lord Zarian said. "We will test them." As the lights dimmed, the Emperor watched from far above. He had seen many species come and go. Some were peaceful, some dangerous. Humans made him curious. They smiled too easily. They walked without fear, and something inside their ships whispered of hidden strength. The Emperor rested his hands on the throne's armrests and spoke to himself softly. "Let us see what laughter can hide." The next morning cycle inside the Galactic Empire station began with bright lights and calm music. Thousands of small metal drones moved through the halls, cleaning floors and repairing walls. Aliens walked with long steps, their armor shining, their faces calm and serious. But near the human docking area, whispers filled the air. "Have you seen them?" One alien guard asked another. "Their faces change shape when they talk." "Yes," the second guard answered. "And they show their teeth when they laugh. Very strange behavior." Both guards watched the human entrance carefully. At that moment, Captain Mira Hayes and her officers stepped out. They walked calmly and carried small gifts, sound devices, colorful spheres, and tiny music players. They hoped to start friendship. Mira looked around, smiling politely. "Good morning," she said. The alien guard stood stiff, blinking slowly. They did not understand greetings with smiles. Their culture believed serious expressions showed respect. Smiling was seen rarely, mostly among close family. An alien diplomat arrived. His long coat flowed behind him like water. He raised a hand. "We welcome you today." The Empire asked for a cultural exchange. "Please follow me." Humans followed through long halls decorated with floating lights. The air smelled faintly sweet. Mira's officers whispered softly. "They are watching us," one said. "Yes," another replied. "This is normal. We are new here." Soon they entered a large room filled with alien diplomats, advisors, and scientists. The walls shimmered like blue crystal. In the center, a long table waited with empty seats on both sides. The alien diplomat spoke first. "We would like to learn about your culture. We would also like to show you ours." Mira nodded. "We are happy to share." They sat down. The humans placed their small gifts on the table. The aliens looked confused. One diplomat whispered, "Why do they bring toys?" Mira explained, "On Earth we use music and sounds to relax. It helps reduce stress." An alien scientist raised an eyebrow. "Stress is weakness," he said softly. Mira gently shook her head. "No, stress can destroy peace if not controlled. Laughter helps us stay calm." Laughter. The aliens heard that word and tilted their heads. One diplomat said loudly, "We heard of this already. You humans laugh during serious moments. Why?" Mira touched a small button on a device. It made a funny, harmless sound, something like a squeaky whistle mixed with a bird's call. For a moment, the room stayed silent. Then a guard near the wall covered his mouth, trying to hide a smile. Another guard's shoulders began to shake. Soon, two diplomats began to laugh softly. Their bodies shook gently and they leaned forward. The scientists stared at them in shock. "Stop, this is unusual behavior." But the laughter grew. It was soft, warm, innocent. The sound filled the room like gentle bells. Some aliens felt lighter, like a heavy weight on their hearts had lifted. One elderly alien wiped the corner of his eye. "Strange," he whispered. "My chest feels warm." Mira smiled politely, not mocking. "This is why humans laugh. It clears the mind. It brings hope." The aliens sat back quietly, thinking. Their culture did not teach laughter in official halls. It was seen as something for children only. After a long pause, a blue-skinned diplomat leaned forward. "Show us more." The humans shared short videos on small screens. Videos of Earth's oceans, forests, animals, and funny moments from daily life. Aliens watched a tiny dog chase its own tail and could not stop smiling. A few children who were visiting the station peeked through the door, giggling. The guards let them watch quietly. However, not everyone enjoyed this moment. At the back of the room stood Advisor Kral, one of the Empire's strict officials. He crossed his arms, his face cold. To him, laughter meant loss of control. He whispered to his assistant, "They are making fools of us. We must show strength." His assistant nodded, though his eyes still sparkled with leftover laughter. When the presentation ended, Mira spoke again. "On Earth, we believe joy can save lives. Humor helped us survive hard times." An alien diplomat asked, "Do you use humor in battle?" Mira answered calmly, "Sometimes. It helps us stay brave. But we respect the seriousness of danger." The aliens looked at each other again. This concept was difficult for them. Laughter and danger? It sounded impossible. To balance things, the alien diplomats decided to share something of their own culture. The room changed colors as lights dimmed. Holograms appeared. Tall warriors with glowing swords dancing in strong, elegant movements. This was the dance of honor, an old tradition. It was serious, graceful, and powerful. Humans watched quietly, not laughing. Their expressions were respectful. After it ended, they applauded softly. The aliens felt proud, realizing the humans understood respect. The diplomat smiled for the first time. "Thank you," he said. Later, humans walked through the station's public area. Alien civilians gathered around them with curious eyes. "Why do your faces move so much?" An alien child asked. Mira knelt to match the child's height. "Our faces show our feelings. It helps others understand us." The child smiled slightly, trying to copy the movement. Mira smiled back, and the child's parents watched in awe. They rarely saw their child smile so naturally. Nearby aliens asked questions. "What is Earth food like? Do you have deserts and oceans? Why do humans speak so many languages?" Humans answered patiently, happy to share. Some alien traders even offered snacks made from glowing fruit. Humans thanked them but scanned the food first to make sure it was safe. Crew member Jonah took a bite and his eyes widened. "Sweet, like sugar and honey," he said. The trader laughed proudly. The peaceful exchange continued until Advisor Kral suddenly arrived. His heavy footsteps echoed like thunder. He glared at the humans. "This is not a festival," he said loudly. "You are guests, not entertainers." Civilians lowered their eyes. The calm mood broke. Mira responded gently. "We are only sharing kindness." Kral's voice sharpened. "This galaxy does not run on kindness. It runs on power." He walked away without waiting for a reply. The aliens whispered nervously. They respected Kral's authority but feared his strict nature. Mira's officers looked worried. "Should we leave?" one whispered. "No," Mira said softly. "Fear will close doors. We keep them open." Later that cycle, the High Council of the Empire gathered in their silent chamber. The Emperor listened to reports about the humans. "We have seen their culture bring joy," one council member said. "Even children smiled today," another member frowned. "Joy makes weakness. We must stay serious." The Emperor raised a hand. "Perhaps there is wisdom in their ways. Let them continue sharing." But Advisor Kral stepped forward. "You honor them too quickly. Their ships hide unknown energy. We must test their strength. If they fail, we must warn them never to return." The room went quiet. The Emperor thought deeply. He remembered how comfortable humans seemed, even in unfriendly halls. He wondered if joy hid danger. Finally, he said, "Very well. We will invite them to a friendly combat trial tomorrow. We will study their technology peacefully." The council agreed. Their curiosity was stronger than their fear. Back on the human flagship Horizon Star, Mira Hayes held a meeting with her crew. "The Empire wants a combat trial," she said. Some officers sighed. Others nodded calmly. "We expected this," Jonah said. "They need to measure our strength." Mira looked at each face. "We must not harm them. Our weapons can disable without destruction. We will show control." "Why are they nervous about us?" a young pilot asked. Mira answered softly. "Because we are different. And sometimes difference frightens people." She dismissed the crew with gentle words. "Rest. Tomorrow is important." Meanwhile, in the Empire barracks, alien soldiers prepared their cruisers. They joked quietly about the small human ships. "This will be a short test," one said. Another soldier chuckled. "Maybe the humans will laugh when we win." A third soldier whispered, "Their technology readings worry me. Those strange energy pockets. Maybe we should not underestimate them." The others shrugged. They had strong armor, large cannons, and numbers. Night fell on both sides of the station. Alien civilians rested peacefully, remembering the strange warm feeling laughter gave them. Some even practiced smiling privately. Inside his tall throne room, the Emperor sat alone. He replayed recordings of human laughter. The sound was new but somehow comforting. He touched his chest, surprised by a soft pressure of warmth. He whispered, "Is this weakness or strength?" Advisor Kral watched secretly from the side hallway. His eyes narrowed. "Tomorrow," he muttered, "we will show them true power." On the human ship, Mira stood by the observation window. The galaxy's stars glowed like silver dust. She whispered to herself, "We will not frighten them. We will show who we are." Behind her, Jonah spoke quietly. "Captain, if they laugh tomorrow, maybe the galaxy will change." Mira nodded. "Maybe it will." Both smiled at the stars, dreaming of peace. But unknown tension waited in the shadows. Tomorrow, the test would begin. The next day began with a heavy silence across the Galactic Empire station. Long metal walkways stretched from one chamber to another, and the air felt tense. Alien soldiers stood ready beside their cruisers, their armor glowing like silver fire. Today was the combat trial, and everyone waited to see how the humans would perform. Inside the human flagship Horizon Star, Captain Mira Hayes prepared her crew. She wore a calm expression, even though her heart beat faster. The crew stood at attention. "You all know our mission," she said. "We will not harm them. We will show skill, speed, and control. We will earn their respect." Her officers nodded. They trusted her leadership. One young pilot, Taro, asked, "Do we think the Empire is worried?" Mira smiled softly. Curiosity and worry often look the same. The humans took their positions. Engines began to hum quietly, lights glowing with soft blue color. Their ships looked small compared to the large Empire cruisers parked across the station. But there was something deep inside their steel armor, something silent, something powerful. Outside, alien soldiers gathered near large viewing screens. Civilians watched with wide eyes. Children whispered excitedly. "Look at their ships," one child said. "They are so small," another replied, "but they move very smooth. Like fish in water." Advisor Krall walked to the viewing area, his cloak flowing behind him. His expression was sharp and cold. "They will learn their place," he muttered. The Emperor arrived soon after, taking a seat in a raised balcony. His silver eyes watched quietly. He wanted answers. He wanted to know if laughter was foolish or clever. Inside the combat arena, a huge open space filled with floating platforms, the trial began. Artificial stars blinked around, creating a small pocket of space. Empire cruisers shined with red engine light. Human ships floated opposite them, calm and silent. A voice echoed through speakers. "This trial begins now." Instantly, the Empire cruisers moved forward. Their engines roared and their cannons powered up. Red beams of light shot toward the human ships, but the humans moved faster. Their ships spun with surprising speed, dodging every blast by narrow angles. It was like they danced in space. The audience gasped as the humans slipped between enemy fire with smooth curves. "What agility!" An alien soldier gasped. "How are they so fast?" Another whispered. Human technology was different. Their thrusters were small but smart. They used tiny bursts of power to change direction quickly. Empire ships were strong but large. They turned slowly. Captain Mira spoke calmly into her microphone. "Do not fire weapons yet. Focus on defense. Show them control." Her pilots obeyed without fear. Empire cruisers tried again, firing a volley of bright missiles. Humans responded by activating a strange energy field. A pale blue glow spread gently around each ship. The missiles touched the shield, then faded like dust. Gasps echoed across the viewing area. "What is that?" asked an alien scientist. "That shield bends energy. It does not break." Another scientist leaned forward. "Impossible. We have never seen such stable shielding at that size." Inside the balcony, the Emperor's eyes narrowed. He remembered the strange energy signals hidden inside the human hulls. Now he saw their purpose. Advisor Krall clenched his fists. "Increase power," he commanded. The Empire cruisers fired stronger beams. But again, the human ships moved with grace. They dodged, spun, and returned laser fire. But their shots were gentle, hitting safe areas and disabling power systems instead of harming the ships. One Empire cruiser lost control of its engines and drifted slowly. A human pilot moved closer and gently nudged the ship back into safe rotation using a gravity tether. The Emperor leaned forward. "They disabled our ships without harming them. They are showing mercy," Advisor Krall hissed sharply, "or they are showing arrogance." Across the arena, Taro spoke excitedly through his mic. "Captain!" "We disabled 2 cruisers already," Mira responded. "Good, keep the damage minimal. Honor is more important than victory." Her voice carried warmth and discipline. The Empire cruisers tried a coordinated attack, surrounding the human ships from all directions. It was a famous tactic called the Iron Cage. No one had ever escaped it before. Human officers breathed in, feeling pressure. But Mira watched the battlefield calmly. "Taro," she said. "Plan Delta. Now." Human ships suddenly changed direction together, spinning tightly and boosting upward. Their small size became an advantage. Empire cruisers tried to follow, but their engines turned too slowly. The humans escaped the Iron Cage, flying above the cruisers like silver birds. They disabled guidance systems, power coils, and signals from above. Red warning lights flashed inside the Empire ships. Aliens in the viewing area stared with open mouths. "How did they escape?" someone whispered. "It is like they knew our plan," said another. "They study," said a scientist softly. "They adapt." Finally, after long minutes of combat, a loud tone echoed through the arena. The trial ended. All Empire cruisers were disabled but undamaged. All human ships remained untouched. Silence filled the viewing halls. Then, soft laughter began. It started with alien children. They giggled at the unusual sight. Tiny human ships dancing around giant cruisers. The joy spread like a wave. Parents smiled. Soldiers chuckled nervously. Even some officers laughed quietly, shaking their heads. Advisor Krall slammed his fist against the railing. "Stop laughing, we lost." But the Emperor did not stop them. He watched the human ships return peacefully to dock. "These humans," he whispered, "fight like artists." Later in the council chamber, alien leaders gathered to discuss what happened. One scientist spoke first. "Their shields are advanced. Their engines are clever. And their aim is calm. They do not strike to destroy." Another diplomat added, "Their culture of laughter did not weaken them. It made them fearless." Advisor Krall stepped forward angrily. "They made us look foolish. We must send them away." But the Emperor raised his hand, silencing the room. "I saw no shame today," he said, "only skill. They respected life. They protected our ships from damage. They showed strength and care," the council members murmured. They had never heard praise like this. "We will continue relations with the humans," the Emperor concluded. "We must learn from them." Advisor Krall bowed stiffly, but his anger did not leave his eyes. In the human docking area, Mira Hayes and her crew returned to cheering civilians. Some aliens held small signs drawn with colorful shapes. Alien children showed tiny drawings of human ships flying like stars. Jonah laughed softly. "We never thought this would happen." Taro nodded. "We came to share culture. We ended up teaching battle tactics." Mira placed a gentle hand on her ship's hull. "We came to show our heart. Sometimes we must show our strength too." A young alien girl approached Mira, holding a glowing fruit. She offered it shyly. "For courage?" she said softly. Mira smiled warmly. "Thank you." The girl smiled wider, showing small teeth. Her parents looked amazed. They had never seen her express happiness so openly. As night fell across the station, the Emperor sat alone in his throne chamber. He replayed the battle footage, watching the human ships dodge and disable without hate. "They laugh," he whispered. "They smile. Yet they fight with honor." He touched his chest again. That warm pressure returned. "Maybe joy is not weakness," he said. "Maybe it is the greatest shield." Advisor Krall watched from the shadows, his jaw tight. He whispered darkly, "They will change our galaxy. And I fear change." Inside the human flagship, Mira Hayes gathered her officers one more time. "You did well," she said. "Today we earned trust." Jonah asked, "Do you think they will accept us?" Mira looked out at the stars. "They laughed today," she answered, "and laughter is the first step to friendship." She turned away gently, and the room filled with quiet hope. Far outside, alien families told stories about humans. Children practiced laughing. Soldiers trained differently, remembering the graceful dance of human ships. And in quiet halls, warm smiles began to spread. The galaxy was changing, slowly, gently, beautifully, and no one could stop the sound of laughter that echoed through the stars. The days after the combat trial changed the mood of the Galactic Empire. The cold metal halls of the station slowly warmed with curiosity and quiet joy. Alien civilians who once walked with serious faces now smiled softly. Young children giggled while trying to copy human expressions. Even guards who always kept straight faces sometimes allowed the corners of their mouths to curl up. In the docking area, Captain Mira Hayes and her crew prepared another cultural display. They set up small screens, colorful banners, and funny robotic toys that danced. Curious aliens gathered around, whispering. Jonah, one of the crew members, held a small drum. He struck it gently, creating a warm rhythm. The sound echoed through the chamber, and alien children moved their feet without thinking. Their parents watched with surprise. One alien mother spoke softly. "I have never seen my child dance." Mira smiled warmly. "Music opens hearts." A tall alien diplomat approached, his coat shimmering like flowing water. He bowed respectfully. "Your culture brings strange energy. Calm but strong. Joy is powerful," Mira replied gently. "It helps us face fear." He nodded slowly, his eyes thoughtful. Across the station, more changes appeared. In military training halls, alien soldiers sat in circles. A human officer showed them breathing exercises to reduce stress. The soldiers closed their eyes and breathed slowly. Their shoulders relaxed. One soldier whispered, "My thoughts are clear." Another said, "My courage feels stronger." For a species that prized discipline, this new calm felt useful. They realized that peace inside the heart could be as valuable as armor on the body. In a learning center, alien scientists gathered around human devices. They studied holographic images of Earth's forests, oceans, and mountains. One scientist pointed. "Your world is beautiful. So many colors, so much life," Mira nodded. "Nature taught us everything." We learned balance from trees, patience from rivers. The scientists wrote notes quickly. They had never seen a world so full of natural movement and laughter. An alien researcher asked, "Do humans ever stop smiling?" Mira laughed softly. "Sometimes. But we try to remember joy even in difficult days." The researcher smiled in return, impressed. Meanwhile, rumors spread across nearby planets controlled by the Empire. At first, only whispers reached alien ears. Humans bring laughter. They fight without hate. They fix ships without taking payment. Trade ships began to arrive with friendly messages. Some captains brought tiny gifts, paintings, carved stones, music recordings. They wanted to share culture too. Human ships accepted everything with open hearts. Their docking areas became bright markets filled with color and sound. Stalls displayed alien foods, musical instruments, and glowing artwork. Humans laughed and tasted new fruits, making faces when flavors surprised them. Aliens laughed loudly at those expressions. Slowly, laughter became like a song that traveled through the halls. One night cycle, the Emperor secretly walked through the station with no guards. He wanted to see the changes for himself. He hid his royal marks beneath a simple coat. As he approached the docking market, he watched alien civilians laugh with humans. A young boy tried a human joke, and everyone in the area laughed at his playful delivery. The Emperor felt something warm inside his chest again. He placed a hand over his heart, confused but comforted. A small human robot rolled near him, playing cheerful music. The Emperor lifted an eyebrow. A human child ran up. "Do you like dancing?" she asked. The Emperor blinked. "I do not know how." The child took his hand gently. "You just move with the music." She stepped side to side, smiling. The Emperor hesitated, but then slowly followed. His movements were stiff at first, but the child smiled brighter. "Good job." Nearby aliens gasped quietly. They recognized their ruler. But they remained silent, watching with wide eyes. They had never seen their Emperor move so softly. After the song ended, the Emperor bowed to the child politely and walked away. His steps were lighter than before. Of course, not everyone liked these changes. Advisor Krall stood in his private office, watching reports. He slammed his hand on the table. "This joy weakens discipline," he muttered. "We must remain serious to control the galaxy." His assistant shifted nervously. "But sir, productivity has increased. Soldiers train better. Children learn faster. Stress is lower." Krall's jaw tightened. He wanted control to come from fear, not happiness. He believed smiles made the Empire forget danger. "We will watch them," he whispered. "And wait." Back on the Horizon Star, Mira held a meeting. "Our mission is working," she said. "But we must continue with care. Trust grows slowly." Taro chuckled. "At this rate, they will name a holiday after us." Jonah laughed softly. "Maybe they already have," Mira smiled. "Remember, our goal is peace, not pride." The crew nodded. The next day, human engineers visited alien factories. They showed how to reduce waste and increase safety. Alien workers were amazed. One worker said, "Your tools are small, but clever." Human engineer Rosa replied, "Small minds can think big thoughts." Workers laughed, shaking their heads in amusement. In exchange, the aliens taught humans about their gravity engines, which could change weight without burning fuel. Mira's crew watched the glowing engines with wide eyes. "These will help our ships travel farther," Mira said softly. Knowledge flowed like rivers between them. Weeks passed. Smiles became normal. Children from both species played together in shared parks. Soldiers trained using both cultures' techniques. Diplomats negotiated trade agreements while sipping human tea and alien fruit drinks. The galaxy felt lighter. But deep in the Empire archives, 3 historians discovered something unusual. War records with no laughter lasted longer. Peace treaties signed during joyful festivals lasted twice as long. Their conclusion was simple. Joy strengthens unity. They sent their findings to the Emperor. He read them quietly, then smiled. For real, not politely. One day, the Emperor called a grand gathering in the central dome. Thousands of aliens arrived, whispering with excitement. The dome's ceiling shined like a galaxy of stars. Humans were invited too. Mira Hayes and her crew stood on a raised platform beside the Emperor. The Emperor spoke in a strong voice that echoed across the dome. "Many cycles ago, we believed power came only from fear and control. Today we learn that courage grows stronger with joy," aliens murmured. Some nodded. A few wiped tears they did not understand. Humans taught us laughter, not to weaken us but to free us. A wave of applause spread like soft thunder. Mira felt her heart fill with pride. The Emperor continued. From today onward, we will share culture across our worlds. We will combine our knowledge and grow together. He raised his hand. A soft pulse of light spread across the dome, showing symbols of unity. Alien children cheered. Human officers clapped. Soldiers looked inspired. Advisor Kral watched from the crowd, his face dark. He whispered quietly, "Joy may unite, but unity changes laws, and I fear change." Still, he could not stop the applause or the rising hope. After the ceremony, Mira and the Emperor met privately. "You have changed us," the Emperor said gently. Mira shook her head. "We did nothing alone. Your people opened their hearts," the Emperor smiled. "Still, I'm grateful." He then asked softly, "Why did humans choose laughter even in dark times?" Mira looked at him with warm eyes. "Because when we lost everything, joy kept us alive. It reminded us why we must continue." The Emperor nodded slowly. "I understand." As stars twinkled outside the station windows, alien families practiced jokes, soldiers shared funny stories after training, and scientists studied laughter as if it were a new galaxy. And in the quiet halls, a gentle sound echoed, something rare and precious. Laughter. It did not weaken walls. It strengthened hearts. The galaxy felt safer. War felt distant. Trade grew. Friendships blossomed. No one knew what challenges would come next, but for now, joy was the strongest shield, and the light of humanity spread across stars like a sunrise. Weeks had passed since the humans' cultural visit to the Galactic Empire. The galaxy was quieter now, but new challenges were always near. Far beyond the Empire's borders, a large pirate fleet had begun attacking outer colonies. Their ships were dark, fast, and cruelly armed. Villagers sent desperate signals, hoping someone would come to protect them. Inside the Emperor's throne room, alarms rang loudly. He looked at the star map projected in the air. Red dots moved toward innocent worlds. He clenched his hands, feeling unease. "Send a fleet immediately," he ordered. "All available cruisers must respond." Advisor Kral stepped forward. "Emperor, we are strong, but this enemy is fast. Should we involve the humans?" The Emperor shook his head, thinking about the lessons learned. "Yes, send them. They fight wisely and they protect without hatred. Their way may save lives." On the human flagship Horizon Star, Captain Mira Hayes received the message while sipping her morning nutrient drink. Her eyes scanned the holographic map of the colonies under attack. "Pirates," she said softly. "They do not understand honor." Her crew gathered quickly. Jonah tapped the control panel, plotting courses to intercept. Taro smiled nervously. "Captain, we go fast, but their fleet is larger." Mira nodded calmly. "We fight with skill, not anger. Precision, speed, and care will win the day." The human fleet powered up. The engines glowed soft blue, reflecting off the metal of the nearby stations. Each ship moved with grace like silver birds ready to soar. Meanwhile, the Empire's military forces scrambled. Soldiers tightened armor, pilots checked weapons, and commanders reviewed strategy. Many watched the human fleet join them, feeling a strange combination of relief and curiosity. "They move differently," one officer whispered. "Faster, smarter. Careful?" "Yes," another replied. "And they smile while they do it." Advisor Kral watched from the command balcony, frowning. "Do not let laughter fool you," he muttered. The fleets reached the pirate armada near a cluster of asteroid fields. Red and orange blasts lit the darkness of space. Pirate ships moved aggressively, expecting chaos, but the humans remained calm. "Remember," Mira said, "disable only. Protect life wherever possible." Her orders were clear, concise, and full of confidence. The human ships moved together, forming patterns that Empire pilots had never seen before. They twisted, turned, and intercepted pirate fire with almost playful ease. The pirates were stunned. These small ships were impossible to predict. Every attack aimed to destroy power sources, not lives. One pirate cruiser tried to ram a human ship but found itself tethered gently by a gravity field, safely immobilized. "Look at them," shouted an Empire pilot. "They fight without hate. And yet they are winning." Mira's voice came over the comms, calm and firm. "Stay focused. Protect the colonies first. Pirates cannot harm those who are defended with care." The human ships continued weaving through enemy fire. Jonah's fingers danced across controls, nudging pirate ships away from populated planets. Taro-coordinated engine bursts, allowing the fleet to dodge heavy lasers. Empire soldiers began to notice a strange feeling. Their fear of pirates lessened. They felt calm. They felt certain they could survive. The human influence had changed them. After hours of careful maneuvering, the pirate fleet had lost control. Many ships floated disabled, their crews unharmed but unable to attack. The remaining pirates retreated, confused and fearful of a force that fought without anger, yet could disable hundreds of ships with precision. On the Empire command balcony, the Emperor watched quietly. He leaned forward, eyes shining with admiration. "They are remarkable," he whispered. Advisor Krell's jaw tightened. "They are dangerous, not in strength, but in influence," he said. "Yes," the Emperor agreed softly. "Dangerous only to injustice, not to life." Back on the horizon star, Mira gathered her officers after the battle. "Well done, everyone," she said. Her voice carried calm pride. "We defended without hatred. We showed strength with honor. This is the way humans fight," Jonah smiled. "Captain." It felt strange. We could win and still laugh with the Empire watching. Mira nodded. "Laughter is courage too. It reminds us why we fight. Not for conquest, but for protection." The crew laughed softly, exhausted but happy. The Empire colonies celebrated. Humans and aliens worked together to repair damage, restore food and water, and comfort those who had lost homes. Children from different species played together in the restored towns, laughing under the twin suns. Alien scientists observed humans closely. "Even in battle," one said, "their morale never breaks. Their technology adapts, and their culture strengthens their allies." The Emperor himself visited one of the colonies in secret. He watched humans help alien families. Mira's crew organized festivals, taught children games, and shared simple stories of Earth's heroes. He could see happiness spreading naturally. He whispered softly, This is real power." Back on the station, Advisor Krell fumed. "They are changing everything," he muttered. "We trained our soldiers for strength, yet they gain loyalty through laughter." "Discipline will weaken," a young officer replied quietly. "Sir, discipline is stronger when fear is not the only guide. Look at the colonies. People follow with trust, not terror." Krell shook his head. "This is dangerous. We must watch closely." Days later, a grand festival was organized in the Empire's central dome. Humans and aliens gathered side by side. Lights shimmered like galaxies above their heads. Music played, soft but lively. Alien children laughed, copying human jokes. Soldiers smiled while teaching children how to protect themselves. Diplomats sat together, sharing tea, fruit, and laughter. The Emperor rose and addressed the crowd. "Today we celebrate unity. Today we celebrate courage that comes from joy. Humans have shown us strength that is not cruel, power that is gentle, and victory that respects life." The crowd cheered. Humans and aliens alike clapped, shouted, and laughed together. Even some of the strictest advisors allowed themselves small smiles. Mira stood quietly, watching the scene. "This," she whispered to Jonah, "is what we wanted. Not conquest, not fear. Just peace," Jonah nodded. "And laughter can protect as much as shields." As night fell on the station, the Emperor walked quietly through the halls. He saw soldiers practicing dance-like drills, children telling jokes, and engineers working together, sharing knowledge. For the first time in centuries, the station felt alive with hope, not only discipline. He stopped by a small human robot, which was playing a cheerful tune. The Emperor bent down and smiled genuinely. For once, there was no armor of pride, no mask of authority, only warmth. "Perhaps joy is stronger than fear," he whispered. On the horizon star, Mira looked out at the stars. "Our mission continues," she said softly. "We will travel, explore, teach, and learn. But wherever we go, we will carry this lesson. Strength is not only in weapons, but in courage, care, and joy." The crew nodded. The stars reflected in their eyes, bright and infinite. Far away in colonies, soldiers told stories of the humans who fought without hate. Children laughed while retelling the tales. Diplomats shared jokes during treaty negotiations. The galaxy was changing, slowly but surely. And in that quiet, endless space, one truth echoed louder than any cannon. Laughter is courage. Laughter is unity. Laughter is strength. By the end of the cycle, humans were no longer just visitors. They had become teachers, protectors, and friends. Aliens called them the Joyful Protectors, a title that reflected both their strength and their kindness. The Emperor gazed at the stars one last time that night. He whispered softly, smiling as he had never smiled before. Humanity has taught the galaxy a new power, and that power will never fade. The stars shimmered in quiet agreement, and somewhere in the distance a soft, shared laughter echoed across the endless darkness, reaching every corner of the Empire.